welcome to another episode of
Zeng This.
Took the wind right out of my sails again. Well, welcome everybody to another episode. We've got some great stuff on deck today to discuss. I guess let's just start with some Marvel news real quick.
Okay.
Out of the gates. Apparently, there's been some rumors flying around that Fox is not done with the Fantastic Four, that they do want to make a follow-up to the most recent movie.
Oh, goody.
I don't know. I mean, this is rumors and everything and hearsay, so who knows how far along it is, but I just feel that maybe Marvel should be able to get the rights back to that at some point would be nice. I mean, I'm just saying. I'd appreciate them to get the rights back personally.
Yes. That would be nice.
I think they could do it. I think Marvel could do a good job with it. I don't think they need to do a movie to begin with. Maybe introduce them into the cinematic universe.
Right, which they've been doing with a lot of other characters.
Yeah, and then maybe follow it up with a movie if there is interest in it. Because I think Doom would be a very interesting part of the Marvel landscape. And actually an interesting villain like Loki that's not just going to show up and vanish. Because that would not be something I think Doom would be able to do.
Right, yes, definitely.
So, with that, let's just move on to some more news involving Marvel. Apparently, Channing Tatum is still on board to do a Gambit movie, and he wants it to be the next Deadpool. This Gambit movie has been in, quote-unquote, the works for a very long time now.
You know what I would like to see if we're going to talk about Gambit?
What's that?
You know, Gambit and Rogue had a really interesting relationship.
Yeah,
I think it'd be kind of cool if that was sort of some of the focus of the Gambit movie is the relationship between him and Rogue.
That would be cool. I really hope that they'd be able to do something with that. I mean, I'm assuming they'd have her with, all of her powers and everything.
Yeah.
So that would definitely be cool in my opinion. So I guess we got some other stuff. If you saw on our little collage we posted, there was an image from the new Full Metal Alchemist live action movie of Alphonse in the armor.
Don't get me started.
That looked basically straight from the anime/manga. I was impressed with it.
Oh man, I was too when I first saw it. I was so excited. So if they're getting that on point, I definitely am pretty stoked. Now, I'm kind of curious how they're going to pull off the sins.
You
think that's going to be real heavy CG, or do you think they're going to try to? Well,
I mean, when there was the dog lion thing that was transmuted that was running at him, that looked heavily. I mean, it looked cool. I don't know. It's a lot of stuff I've seen on it. This looks kind of manga/anime accurate. I mean, in real world, quote unquote, setting.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know. I just was really impressed with the way he looked. So that's definitely something that I was very impressed with.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And do you think they're going to go more along the Brotherhood line?
Yes.
Is it Brotherhood?
Brotherhood's the one that follows the manga much closer, and a lot of people like the original, but I think a lot of people received the other one a lot better.
Yeah,
personally.
see, I've seen the whole original, but I haven't gotten through Brotherhood yet. Even though you always yell at me for that.
I'm telling you, I personally like the original, but once Brotherhood came out, I fell in love with that storyline a lot more.
I did force myself to get through the first movie. And it was a little hard, because I thought at times it was a little... I don't know. It was hard for me to get into that one, but I love the series.
So you were talking about the Conqueror of Shambhala then for the first movie. Just to clarify. Just to clarify with people real quick on which movie we are discussing within that. Mm-hmm. All right. Wait. That ship just flew by us. It's heading for that small moon.
That's no moon. It's Star Wars news.
Da-da-da.
Da-da-da.
So, sorry for the little skit.
We're cheese.
Yes. So, a few things with Star Wars. As you saw in our collage, there's the first, I guess, on-set, a cast photo of
I loved
a lot
it.
of people from the upcoming Han Solo anthology.
Yeah.
movie. So that looks really cool. I'm excited about that
And
personally.
it's got our favorite Glover.
Yes, which we will be talking about him a little bit more momentarily because there was an announcement about him as well. I
love that guy back from Community.
Yes.
Love him.
Yes, so that's definitely something that we'll be bringing up a little bit more on him because he's got some other news. But I was very excited to see this set photo, and it definitely looks cool. You know, Star Wars is obviously, you know, heading in the right direction. It's according to J.J. Abrams, he said he was really excited about the script for it too, so that's a good sign.
Yeah.
And of course, if you want more Star Wars stuff, you can of course check out our extra special episodes we do every month until the new one comes out, where we discuss each episode of Star Wars as well as some other stuff within the Star Wars universe. So the next episode of that will be out in March. If you want to listen to the previous two, they are available on our feed.
Yes.
So other Star Wars news I wanted to mention. So we just, I guess this should be something we should have discussed within the, I guess this is an extra thing for everybody to hear about the Star Wars stuff outside of our regular episode with it.
Okay.
But we are going to be watching, of course, the Blu-ray cuts of the movie.
Yes.
For the us discussing on the podcast. Now, we will, of course, probably bring up stuff from the original trilogy because I do have DVD copies of it where it's the original cuts, and I mean the original cuts of them, so they're the unaltered ones, which were very hard to find. I luckily got them when they came out, but that's neither here nor there.
Right.
The thing is this, a lot of people are upset because the Blu-rays, which look phenomenal, by the way, for a lot of stuff.
Oh my gosh. I couldn't believe the difference.
A lot of people are upset because you get the altered versions. There's no way to get the unaltered versions, and they keep altering them more. Well, rumor is we might be seeing the unaltered Blu-ray cuts soon. It's just a rumor.
Okay.
So I'm just excited to mention that because, I mean, it's not going to change how we're going to be doing our discussion because we're discussing it as a whole. So that's just something that I guess will come up when we get to the original trilogy, which is a few months from now. But when we get to it, we'll be discussing, I'm sure, both versions of it in that. So, I mean, I'm excited because I love the unaltered ones. I like it a lot personally. But the altered ones have their benefits to them, which I'm not going to get into it too much here because that's ruining a possible future discussion that we're going to more than likely have. We mentioned Donald Glover.
Yes.
He has actually apparently, allegedly, been cast as the voice of Simba for the live action, I'm using quotation fingers here, version of The Lion King. Now, once again, we're kind of sticking with Star Wars with this, but I bet you'll never guess who's going to be Mufasa. James Earl Jones will be reprising his role as Mufasa.
That's awesome.
So that's really cool. I mean, they're supposed to be doing a lot of stuff similar to the Jungle Book, so I mean, that was a lot of people like that, so we'll see what happens with it.
I can't stress enough. I am a huge fangirl of all these Disney remakes, I have to admit. I can't wait for next month.
Oh, the Beauty and the Beast.
Yes. I'm so excited.
Yeah, so that's really cool. So we're going to get to our final little news segment before we get into our topic today.
Okay.
And that's... I have no skit today for the DC news. We're just going to jump into it because it's not any... This is actually new news. This isn't us repeating, something
news.
else. I'm sure that there is something to do with the Batman movie or Aquaman or something like that right now, but we're focusing on the possibility of a Nightwing movie happening.
Don't get me started.
I'm excited for that.
I love it.
And I think with the people there wanting to get together to possibly do it,
yes.
I think it would be fun. I think it would not be a dark and broody movie like Batman is. So hopefully they can have some fun with the character. Because I feel that Nightwing can be dark, but he's more fun of a character in my opinion.
I don't know. I'm conflicted. I'm going to be honest.
Oh, okay.
I like Nightwing dark and broody.
You do?
I do.
I like him as Batman if Batman had had fun doing what he did, sort of, if that makes any sense.
See, that's Robin.
But he was Robin.
But you know what I'm trying to say? Like, when it's the Robin outfit, I expect that from Robin. But when he's Nightwing, I don't know. I'm sorry, but I prefer my Nightwing more broody.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but when Nightwing, Dick Grayson took over as Batman, a few of the criminals, if I remember correctly, figured out it wasn't Bruce Wayne or wasn't the original Batman because they saw him smile when he was fighting people and actually
That
having
is
fun
cool.
doing it.
That
So I
is
mean
cool.
that's something there to show you the difference between the two.
Right.
They both had kind of the similar bringing up, but one of them handled it one way or one of it handled a different way. So I think that's an interesting dynamic. It would be cool to see some flashbacks possibly to him as Robin.
Yes.
If that's possible. I don't know if they do that.
That would work with me.
But I would love to have a Nightwing movie. I think he's a great
Oh, yeah.
character. I think he's somebody that, can get people excited for something that's Batman enough, but not the whole has to be dark and broody. So who knows how this is going to fit into the universe that they're building? Or, does it even have to?
Well, and when, I'm sorry, all you Batman, fanatics out there. I can't remember the name of the Batman movie, where they kind of hinted that the one guy was going to be Nightwing.
Oh, the Dark Knight Rises?
Yeah, at the very end when they
where he found the Batcave and everything, and it kind of was implying that he would either take over as Batman, or Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character.
So I've been excited for a long time for something maybe to happen.
Now, I personally would like him to have his black and blue suit.
Yes.
I know that the new 52 they brought in the red one, which I don't mind, but the blue.
I like the black and blue.
Now, if we wanted to go really classic, you could go with his 80s one to where it was the gold plated.
Oh, gosh.
The gold, look that up. Look that up. If you've never seen the older Nightwing costume, look that up.
That's awesome.
It is quintessential, late 80s, early 90s comics.
Okay.
Pockets everywhere, just gold plating. Great for stealth. It's just phenomenal for stealth combat.
Awesome.
Well, with that, we're going to get into our topic today. Which is something that, we've discussed gaming stuff before. And I'm sure that as gamers, you guys and girls have probably all encountered DLC of some sort, whether it be something you paid for, got for free, were excited about, or something you got as an expansion as an add-on to your game for buying a collector's edition, stuff like that. We're going to be discussing mostly just, purchasable DLC, both free and paid for.
Yes.
The stuff that you can get as a collector's edition will probably be mentioned, but we feel that collector's editions as a whole could probably be a conversation for another day.
Yeah.
So it will be mentioned, but if someone's like, oh, well, why didn't you guys talk about it? It's because we have something in the works for collector's editions at some point. Because trust me, we've bought enough that we have
Yes.
opinions on collector's editions of games. So I don't know how you want to start this, because we've got good ones, we've got bad ones. So do you want to flip-flop this, or do you want to just, just dive right into one that we're excited about? And we do have some listener suggestions that will be at the end.
Which is funny, because when I was coming up with the ones that I wanted to talk about, I hadn't looked at the ones that were listed, and I had a lot of similar ones that, so obviously these are common ones that people have been frustrated about, so...
All right, fine. I'll just start with the one that probably brings up a lot of discussion from everyone from the get-go. Elder Scrolls Oblivion. Horse armor. Horse armor.
Well, yes.
Now, what does this do in the game?
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying I'm 100% accurate on this, because I think bought this. And I said I think because I lost the horse that it was on, and I've never tried to get it again.
That's
I think
rough.
It's been a long time
That's
since
about
I played
$2 down the drain.
But that basically just gave your horse armor.
So there is, for this armor, there is no benefit as far as
It's an aesthetic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's basically just cosmetic. There's no stat increase or anything like that.
But it's wouldn't you think buying horse armor would imply?
Well, if you like shiny, glittery horses, it's cool. We'll keep going over this back and forth, but I don't have a problem with spending $2 if that's your thing.
I once again, this will probably come up. I'm sure we're
Yeah.
going to have a discussion on skins and stuff like that.
Right.
I may or may not have just purchased some stuff for Titanfall.
Or when you get boxes for
Overwatch.
Yes.
Overwatch.
Sorry. When you buy the stuff so you can open up the special boxes.
Yeah, and then you can get those in game, but it of course accelerates.
It takes longer.
Yes, it takes a lot longer.
Yes.
Or you just buy them out. Those are skins.
So we kind of want to know your opinions. If you want to, put a little comment. But are you the type?
that would buy, just skins. It doesn't give you any bonuses in the game.
Yes, exactly.
It just makes your character look different.
It's kind of a way to have somebody, if they're watching you play or whatever, or the same thing with like a Elder Scrolls Online where other people can see you. It's kind of one of those things where like, is it a thing where you're like, yeah, I'm cool. I paid. Oh, I know they bought that, or that was a special edition item. Like, do you buy it because you think you look cool because you have stuff that maybe other people don't have?
Here's the thing. I feel like downloadable content like that is some people might be like, you're getting ripped off. It's a complete. You're just buying just a skin, but I feel it's in the eye of the beholder. Mm-hmm. Like for me, I play Titanfall a lot.
Right.
Do I want to have my character look a little different? Know that I have some cool stuff. Yeah, I kind of like that. So, I don't mind doing that.
Right. Well, and I'm going to piggyback off of that. So, I guess also including, Elder Scrolls Online or some of the MMOs that I've played in the past on the computer, more on the PC. Because Elder Scrolls Online is the first one I really have dived into as far as on consoles. But I have been known to spend money for, extra outfits or extra armor or items for my homestead. With like some MMOs, you can have a house or that kind of thing. You'll buy furniture packs or dye packs so you can change the colors, any of that kind of stuff. But I know that it's a waste of money, but it's still kind of cool if you're spending hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours into a game. It's kind of neat to be able to do that kind of stuff.
I just want to point out real quick, I probably should have said this at the beginning, this is all kind of more of opinion based. There are some stuff that we have gotten a lot of feedback on that a lot of people have kind of said, hey, I don't like this DLC or I don't like this. But this is opinion based. So, if you bought something and you're excited about it, we're not saying anything negative about that.
Oh, no.
We're just saying that.
We're kind of talking about both sides of it. Why you'd be upset or why you'd be okay with it.
Like I said, skins, for me, it's what you put into the game. Like, if you want to have those extra skins, go get those extra skins. Because like I said, I played plenty of games where I buy that stuff.
And talking about skins, you've got games like the Call of Duty games.
Yeah.
I know in some of the... Now, I'm not a big Call of Duty player, but I will play the... as short as they are, I will play the campaign, the single-player campaigns, just to kind of for the story part of it. But I know some guys and some girls, like... They play a lot of online Call of Duty, so I know that a lot of people think it's cool to pay to get the skins for the guns, you know, and that sort of thing. So it's really, it's a lot of money to sink into it, but who am I to judge if you want to color your gun a different color?
Now, going off of that.
Yeah.
Going off of that, I know that there is a thing in one of the Battlefield games where you can shortcut your... experience straight up through a level, straight up through a class. And to me, I don't know.
Is that cheating?
I wouldn't say cheating, but is that taking away from learning how to play the character correctly? Because, class-based games, you kind of need to know how to play a character or know what weapons work and what doesn't. It just kind of, I feel you jump past that and you kind of have to either learn on the go or... Because, one of the greatest things I was ever told, and this is me going on a quick tangent. Yeah, I'll be right back. I promise, people. Just hold on, hold on to your horses.
It's okay.
Hold on to your horses with armor. With armor.
With gold shiny armor.
Yes, hold on to your horses with gold shiny armor.
Yes.
I was told this when I played Warcraft years ago. Someone said that basically
I know where you're going. Okay.
Basically, from level 1 to whatever the max level was you just learning how to play your character. Mm-hmm. That's all it was. Now, there is a ton of stuff you can do, but it was learning how to play your character. Once you hit max level and started doing the raids, that's when the true game began. Mm-hmm. So that's the thing. If you skip learning how to play the character, I'm sure you can figure out. And Warcraft has done plenty of the get your character boosted. And I'm sure people worked out fine with it. It's just... experience
scrolls and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's just getting that, I guess, learning how to play the character for me. But that's the thing. It's each person's individual... thing on that one. I would not like to be boosted because I'd rather hold on I know what you're about to say. I wouldn't like to be just automatically boosted. Now if I'm playing with other people and I am kind of learning as I'm going and they're just sort of dragging my level 10 but behind their level 30s to level me up, that's different in my opinion. That's a different thing.
I don't know. That's a whole nother conversation. Power leveling, is that cheating?
All right.
I know, we'll stop. I'm sorry.
All right, so let's talk about, we've kind of talked about stuff that's more cosmetic and more the individual.
Yes.
Well, what about stuff that just takes away from a game entirely? Like you don't get this mission or something. We've talked about Mass Effect and our love of it repeatedly. But From Ashes was a DLC that came out day one, was probably on the disc,
right,
and featured a very important character, in my opinion, to the story.
Yes.
But if you didn't get it, then you didn't get to play with or as this character,
correct,
who was one of the Protheans. So in the DLC, you get to get the last Prothean on your team, and I mean, I think that was really cool. I enjoyed playing it. I think it was, didn't you get it for free with one of the like collector's editions or one of the special editions or something?
I think so.
I think it's been so long since I got that, and I think I rebought it and everything. But I mean, in your opinion, is that a bad DLC that, you know, if you don't play it, you're missing out on like a chunk of the story then? That's kind of essential to the story, I feel. I
think they do it because they are hoping that it'll sell.
Yeah.
Because people will be like, well, I'd be crazy not to buy this because it adds a character, but...
Well, this also adds a very interesting look into the industry, too. I mean, I don't want to get into this conversation too much.
Yeah, that's another whole day.
But used games. We're not saying we're for or against it, but this is kind of their way of saying, hey, if you bought this game new... Now, not saying... I'm pretty sure From Ashes was not you bought this game new and you got this. But it was sort of during that time frame where they wanted to, hey, if you're buying this game used, there's still extra content you got to buy.
Well, I mean, From Ashes was included with the collector's edition.
Okay, I thought it was with one of them. I just don't think the regular game. But
yeah,
either way, the character is definitely cool to have. I would not play the game without that character, in my opinion, because his story added a lot.
Well, yeah, and with Mass Effect games, I mean, I liked to play anything they had available. So.
The actual mission, though, was kind of weak, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The mission was getting him was worth it. So I guess if that makes sense to you,
yes.
then yeah. Do you have another one?
As far as what I like?
Oh, we're just having a general discussion here.
Okay, well, I'm going to talk about one that was ridiculous.
Okay, cool.
If that's okay.
I think we're on that trend right now.
Yes, and I think this is also one that was mentioned by one of our listeners.
We'll find out at the end.
Yes, but so I played a little ditty on the PS3 called Saboteur.
Oh, this one.
Yes, and I don't know if you want me to say the word, but a certain lady parts, excuse me, were normally covered by tassels.
Yes.
But you could spend a couple...
after hours club,
yes,
if you would.
And you could spend a couple bucks for all of those...
Real money.
Yes,
real money, by
real
the way.
money. If you chose to have the ladies not have tassels on. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess it's, whatever floats your boat. If you felt like they shouldn't have had tassels on, if it's worth it to you.
I think it's once again one of those things to where, I mean, it's all in your preference too.
Yeah, so I don't necessarily know if it's a bad DLC choice, but it was definitely interesting that it was kind of put in that way. All
right, cool. Yeah. So let's talk about some positive ones real quick then.
Me.
Oh, darn it. All right, go ahead.
So I love Last of Us.
Uh-huh.
And so I really liked Left Behind.
Oh, yes, that was the Ellie story.
Yeah, so it gave
prequel?
it was a prequel to kind of why Ellie was the way she was. Mm-hmm. So you get a little bit more backstory of her, and it was very well done. So I did really like that. Okay,
well, that's some cool DLC that definitely added to the game. It was that was sort of quote unquote. I'm saying this standalone, as in it kind of you played your own mission. It wasn't like an extra mission you went on during the game.
Yes, you didn't have to. It was definitely a standalone. You could do it.
Which the extra missions you go on during the game are more of an RPG thing, which I'm sure we're going to be getting into one very shortly that has a lot of DLC.
Maybe.
But I kind of want to say something about season passes real quick.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not trying to get into too much discussion on
Right.
this because I mean it is DLC,
Yes.
but there's plenty of season passes I bought where they have some phenomenal content like coming out every month, and I think that's cool. And then there's other ones where it's only like a few things.
Right.
Of course, being at a discounted rate, this is very, in my opinion, I like having that discounted rate because it's worth it for me,
But
especially if it's a game I know I'm going to be playing.
it's not really. A lot of times, it's not extremely discounted, though.
It isn't.
Yes. So.
But it's kind of one of those things where do you truly know what you're going to get? Because there's ones where they've been shorted, or there's ones like, I'm just going to say this off the top of my head, the Star Wars Battlefront,
Yeah.
where you kind of got half the game and then you had to get the DLC to get the whole game.
and
almost. A lot of
that's not
people did
cool.
not like that.
Yeah, that isn't cool.
That was one that a lot of people were kind of fighting against, and that's a certain company that we're not going to mention by name, but you can kind of figure that they've been brought up in probably other conversations by other people with
Well, and
content issues.
I'm sure a lot of our listeners have heard of the game Evolve.
Yes. That one's another one that had multiple season passes, didn't it?
Well, the problem with Evolve was, I mean, it was obviously a very highly rated game.
I remember a lot of people
Yeah.
talking about it when it came out.
It won a lot of awards at E3 and all that stuff. But to actually be able to play the complete game, you had to spend over $130 for extra DLC.
Now, was that like day one, or was that by the end of it?
By the end of it.
Okay.
Yeah, and so you're talking about over double the price of the game to be able to get everything that was included for it. So I think that's kind of ridiculous. It's one thing when a DLC charges, like a season pass charges like $20 or $30.
Yeah.
You know, it is still a lot because you figure that's half of what the game costs originally anyway.
But if they're putting out enough content that would make
Yeah.
it worth it, then, I
Correct.
mean, that's not a big deal.
Yes, but, paying double for one game is kind of crazy.
So I guess since we're on season passes, I'll
Yes.
bring up Destiny.
Okay.
I'll bring that up now and just rip that Band-Aid off.
No, go ahead.
I
know
played
you played a lot of it. So.
I played a lot of Destiny.
Yes.
Ellie can attest to this. I
Yes.
played a lot of it. I enjoyed the game a lot. I played it, I'm pretty sure day one, actually.
Yeah, I think
I'm almost
so.
positive I got it day one or
Yeah.
week one and played a lot of it. I did some of the raids. I did a lot of the content.
Mm-hmm.
I really wasn't super impressed with the content that came out later. I know this is kind of an MMO thing, so please don't tear me apart in the comments, people. But it felt like every time a new expansion came out, I could have the top tier weapons. Worthless. Completely worthless. I could get a gun, like just a common gun that was better than some of like the legendary stuff I had. And I know that they've changed a lot of stuff. I kind of stopped playing after I did not play Rise of Iron.
Okay.
And a lot of people are kind of, it's got a mixed bag around it with the reviews. So, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of one of those games I liked playing Destiny because when I did sink time into it, I felt it was very rewarding, but I truly feel, I mean, you'll get your money's worth because a lot of people will play that day in, day out, doing the daily, the weekly, all the stuff with it.
Right.
And that's awesome.
It's
and
definitely very grindy.
Yeah, and I definitely don't mind
Yeah.
that. It's just for me, it kind of felt like there was a drop-off point for me with all the DLC. Like, it was cool, awesome, great stuff. And then I'm like, I'm just doing the same thing over again. And all the cool weapons I've got, I can either do a ton of stuff to upgrade them or do this to get a new one. So, I mean, it brought more stuff, but it's just kind of, did it retain me?
And I want to ask you a question
Go
because
ahead.
I didn't play much of it.
Yeah.
Because I, to be honest, got really bored very quickly, which is odd for me because I do like MMOs and I do like grindiness. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
My thing is like, and I don't mean to keep talking about WoW, but it's a juggernaut in the category.
And it's had technically expansions, so
Yes.
DLC.
So with Destiny, when
Yeah.
they added these new expansions, $20 or $30, whatever they cost, was there a lot of story additions? Like, honestly, was there like...
There was
or
stuff
was
that
it-
kind of... I know I'm going to get paid for this by somebody on here because I'm trying to now recollect back because the story in that game was always elusive.
Okay. So
I've
I don't
heard
want,
Rise of Iron.
I don't want you to get, flogged here, but I'm just...
I've heard Rise of Iron has, some better storytelling
Okay.
in it The other ones have a lot of stuff, but you kind of got to know certain things. I know that Crota, the stuff with Crota, led into the Taken King DLC.
Okay.
There was a storyline there that continued.
'Cause-
There is a lot of storylines that were going on, but at the same time, this game's storyline telling was very different from what a lot of people had seen. So that's kind of the issue there is they might have been telling a great story, but if you didn't read all the back stuff and know everything that was going on, you were kind of missing out then.
Because the reason I'm asking is when I used to play WoW and I was current, so if a new expansion came out, I bought it right away so I could keep playing. I felt like at least with that game, like you could tell there were hours and hours and hours of actual side quests and missions and like new towns. Like it felt like it was an expansion. And I feel like when I watched you play Destiny, and like I said, I'm so sorry, I'm not trying to offend anybody with this, but I felt like with Destiny, they just really didn't, there was new raids and new weapons and that kind of thing, but I didn't really feel the difference between.
I kind of felt that when I played Taken King.
Okay.
When I played Taken King versus the other ones, there was a long break there, so when I went back to it, I felt that there was a lot of good changes.
Okay.
But once again, I felt like I just walked into this area being like, I was one of the, I have all the awesome stuff from the previous thing, and they're like, yeah, that's all worthless.
You know what I'm thinking? What bothers me the most is the hub. You go to the same town, like it's never.
They've moved
Have they
stuff.
moved
I mean,
around?
I don't,
Okay.
like I said, I have not played
that's fine.
played Rise of Iron. So I've heard that changes it a little bit up too.
Cool. Okay,
So
just
I mean,
curious.
a hub world is kind of, it's not going to change too much. I know that they do a little bit different stuff, and they did have cool activities going on, normally for you to be involved in, which is cool to keep you coming back, but it's kind of certain people left. It is a drastically, I will say this about the expansions. From when I stopped playing to when I started, it is almost a completely different game how they did stuff, which
Wow.
is in my mind, yes, through the downloads, through the expansions, through you paying for the content, you definitely got your, I will never say I got ripped off, in my opinion, by the Destiny content.
Okay.
I just feel like it didn't retain me for as long as I think it could have. I think it could have retained me longer, but I also did personally step away from it because it was a game that I would I would just play that game all the time. Like that's basically, like if I was playing on one of my systems, it would be Destiny, and it would be like, oh, I've got to do the daily quest. Oh, I got to do this. Oh, I'm almost done with this. And there's plenty of other games I still do that on, but since it's kind of, you can get people to invite you and stuff, I feel it keeps drawing you back in. Back to DLC discussion now, because I'm getting sidetracked with talking about Destiny and other stuff. So I guess we'll talk about this now to kind of break this up, because the Season Pass was purchased by both of us for a certain not MMO, certain RPG game.
Yes.
Called The Witcher 3.
Yes.
Now, we both got the Season Pass for The Witcher 3.
Yes.
Now, on top of that, before the Season Pass even came out, like the content came out,
16.
free DLC.
Yes.
And these were horse armors,
There were horse armors.
aesthetic changes.
Yes.
There was
Weapons.
quest.
Yeah.
Quest lines, like not expansive ones, but probably about
And
30,
there
40
was,
minutes worth of stuff.
Extra Gwent card sets you could get.
Yes. There was the ability to play New Game Plus mode.
Yep.
So once you beat the game, you could go back through.
And I loved getting the alternate looks for certain characters too.
Yes.
Yes.
So that was, you said 16.
16.
Now, I mean, is that drastic stuff? Is that something that
No.
could have made us pay for?
But it was neat to look forward to. Oh, what am I going to get new this week?
That I thought was really cool, and
Yeah.
definitely, I mean, that game had so much content in it. So
Yeah.
to add that, I didn't even know I was playing like extra stuff sometimes. I thought that was just stuff in the game, and I found out later it was downloaded.
Right.
But then let's move on to the stuff that you were able to pay for to download.
Man,
They had
so
2 expansions.
Yes, and they're
which-
Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine.
Now, just ballparking, if you were to play both of those, about how long would it take to maybe do a good chunk of the content in that?
Well, they stated that the first one, the Hearts of Stone.
Yes.
That one was supposed to be over 10 hours of content. I probably poured at least 30.
Okay.
Now, that's, of course, doing every single little side quest that they have to offer and all
there's
of that
probably
stuff.
stuff you still miss, too.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. And then now the other one, Blood and Wine, that was supposed to add over 20 hours.
Which is
of
pretty
extra
impressive.
content. Oh, yeah. It's crazy.
Because that's like a game.
Yeah,
That's like
I
an
mean,
entire game right there.
a lot of games nowadays are 15, 20 hours. So yeah, that's insane. And that one, I still haven't done every single little thing that they offer. So for me, the season pass for The Witcher is way worth it.
Or the now complete version of it, where
Right.
they have all that
Yeah.
content on it. See, that's the thing. I mean, we're not waving our fingers and shame at anyone else for not giving free content, but I mean, what they did give out was some pretty impressive stuff, in my opinion. And then when you paid for stuff, it was even more impressive to kind of add to a game.
Right.
Now, if you didn't play that content, were you playing an incomplete game then? No, I mean
No.
it was a true expansion
Yes.
to the game.
Yeah, and it basically, especially for Blood and Wine, it pretty much goes to a whole new part of the map. So you definitely aren't missing anything if you don't play it, because you just look at it as a new adventure,
Yeah.
so to speak. So
I guess real quick, we're going to get back to probably more of a shooter kind of mindset. I don't think we brought this up, but map packs.
yes,
And that's also kind of included in season passes. Once again, I feel like that's if you're going to put time and time and time into a game,
if you're
and you,
prestiging and prestiging,
yeah, and you want to put that extra money in to get the
Yeah.
other maps, and
because I can imagine it gets boring playing the same maps all the time.
it can,
Yes.
it does. I know that from experience. I've bought plenty of map packs and stuff. So that definitely, in my opinion, adds a lot. If you're going to be playing a shooter like that, it adds new areas and new stuff for you to be free and roam around in.
Now,
But that's the thing. It kind of depends on the individual, too.
And I have a question for you, since
Okay.
you're more of a shooter person than I am. Do you think it's ridiculous that you have to pay? Okay, so you know how, like, with Call of Duty, and I'm sure maybe Battlefield, I'm not as familiar, but I do know for sure for Call of Duty, when they would release the new Call of Duty games for a while annually, I don't know if they still do that or not, but you know how they would release the, like, map packs that would have the fan favorites?
Yeah, the
From-
reskins.
Yes. Now, how do you feel about paying for that when it's basically something they've already produced? Do you think they should just give that to fans for free for, like, being...
It depends on the game. I mean, there's certain maps I would love to play on again for
Yeah.
those games. I will never see them again.
Okay.
But Nuketown keeps popping up for some reason. I mean, a lot of people like that. So I mean,
Right.
it's they're selling to what people want.
Right.
I mean, in my opinion, Nuketown's great, but I'd like to see some other ones. I'm not a big Call of Duty player anymore, though, so there's probably ones they have done that I'm just not aware of.
Right.
I know that
And zombies, of course.
I know that Titanfall 2, since that's the one I've been playing recently, did give away one of the maps again for free, and I think they're
From
about
the
to-
first one?
Yes.
Okay.
It's redone slightly, but it's fun to play and everything. So I thought that was really cool
Okay.
for that. So moving away, we're kind of jumping around now because we're just sort of having this discussion as we're going, and it's just kind of whatever's popping into our heads. So sorry, this is a little disjointed, but we're just trying to have fun with this.
Well, it's a conversation.
So I guess we're going to kind of, near the end of our conversation, talk about games that don't have an ending technically because you have to pay for them.
A little frustrating.
So Azura's Wrath.
Yes.
If you've ever heard of that game.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure some people have, I'm sure some people haven't. It's kind of God of War-esque, but way over the top. I played it. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. It wasn't a game I kind of rented it sort of and beat it. It was a fun game. I didn't mind it. Apparently, you had to pay for the true ending to the game.
Right.
Which I find kind of funny how you have to pay for the true ending to a game about a guy that is just driven by pure rage.
Irony.
So just the irony of that. Apparently, to
Yes.
get the true ending, you had to pay for it, and then you were able to unlock the actual ending of the game.
Yeah,
And
that's
I know
crazy.
that there is other games where they've had like the actual get the final chapter or get this or get that. I think that's different. Some other games have had like an alternate version of the ending or extended past the ending, but this was like the true and the intended ending of the game. So I'm like, that was a little misleading in my opinion. with that, let's go to our comments real quick.
Okay.
That we have gotten and see what some of you have said about the DLC debate that we have been discussing. We're going to go to our Twitter first, where we've got at the David G13. So he brought up, it's not a DLC, but a mod for Long War for XCOM and XCOM 2, which are both amazing. XCOM games are, of course, very popular, and I'm assuming the mod, definitely can extend. I'm assuming it allows you to do a longer version of the war, in my guess, on that.
Yeah, when I was looking at stuff about it, it seemed to make it so that, some of the missions and stuff were extended.
Now, he did point out that was a mod.
Right.
But what do you have to do to get a mod normally? Download it. So I will allow it as downloadable content, but I think mods could be a discussion possibly for another day if we actually have a PC game again.
Well, and mods relate to the new Fallout game, too.
Oh, true. Fallout and Oblivion both have mods to them for the consoles now.
Yep.
I did forget about that. So mods are something that definitely can add a lot of stuff to a game if you allow them to.
I think the console world is starting to understand the benefit of mods, and so they're trying to work them into the console setting.
All right, awesome.
Yep.
All right, so now we're going to jump over to our friends over at 540 Gaming. And I posted on there for any, just anyone to comment on that forum. And we got a few responses.
Well, at the 540 Gaming community, we did have some responses. And we had Brad that put his worst was Mad Moxie's Underdome for Borderlands. Now,
I like Borderlands. That was from the first game.
Yes. Well, the Mad Moxie...
That was multiplayer. Like, you had to do multiplayer for that almost.
Well, it was one of those things, too, where if you didn't have 4 people playing...
Yeah.
You were going to have a very difficult time. And I remember looking at the achievements / trophies, depending on what system you played it on. And these games, I think I think it was that one. Wasn't it where it took like 20 some hours?
Ugh.
I think it was this one. It was one of the DLCs for Borderlands. It was ridiculous.
Now,
how long it would take to do a round.
He did follow that up with Best Point Lookout from Fallout 3. We didn't really talk about the Oblivion and the Fallout games too much on there. But they have great content, I feel, normally.
Right.
Have great content for them. So,
yeah, and Point Lookout, so it was kind of neat with the Point Lookout for Fallout 3.
Which is, he said, in his opinion, is the best.
Yeah. It was a neat perspective for that because it was in Maryland and like the nuclear war didn't affect that area.
Yeah, which is odd because it's very close to DC and a lot of the DC wasteland.
Right, and it was kind of a neat perspective because they had different issues to deal with, like hazardous water and the
irradiated
enemies and that sort of thing. So yeah, that was a good one.
All right, so next one.
We had Travis, and he put worst was Street Fighter X Tekken.
Because the DLC was on the disc. I don't think we brought that up. There is a lot of times where the downloadable
you pay to
content,
unlock it.
Yeah, there's content technically on the disc, and you're technically paying to just access it. But once again, I think that's, I don't know, is that a moral discussion? We could have a different day on that one, on whether that's okay to do or not.
I feel like they don't do that as much anymore.
If they do a better job of hiding it, maybe.
Well, it's because they have they can update stuff so easily now. So,
but yeah, I mean, that's kind of, that's definitely a good one. The DLC being on the disc. I don't think any of our other ones we used recently brought that up.
Right.
So moving on to the next one.
We have Timothy, and yay, he mentioned the Oblivion horse armor.
I feel like we're beating a dead horse in armor right now.
A dead shiny horse.
Yes.
He did he put in general Fallout DLC is on point. I wonder if he's referencing Point Lookout.
Oh, aha.
And he put, I think my favorite there is Old World Blues for New Vegas. I feel like most DLC I don't like is stuff I feel should be free. Like themes, wire themes for the dashboard, $5. Seriously.
That's a good point on that. I mean,
Yes.
we didn't discuss themes and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And, gamer picks and all that other stuff. Or the
Yeah.
content that you bought, maybe for your Xbox Live
Your
avatar.
avatar.
That
Oh,
now
yes.
isn't even really, if I'm
I
correct,
remember when that
used.
was so popular
It
to buy
was,
that. And I
yes.
mean, they would have all the, big name brands that would have.
I didn't have Mass Effect armor for every one of the games.
Well, but see, that's actually game stuff. I'm talking about they would have name brand like a
Oh, yeah, the
Adidas store
clothes,
or
yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like that was really popular back
I mean,
then.
it is technically you download it, so I mean, it does count as downloadable
Yes,
content.
that is awesome.
But once again, I feel like that kind of filters into
Or PlayStation Home.
Yeah, that
you could
filter-
buy stuff in there too for your.
filters into what you want to do with it. But yeah, some themes, it's like, why am I paying money for this?
Yes.
So that's a good point. I mean, a lot of them they do give out for free with certain content you can get for collector's editions. Mm-hmm. Moving on to the next one.
Alan, and he put worst when we realized what the Call of Duty franchise was doing to us, the consumer, with its games and DLCs. And best, right now in the test environment BF1, they shall not pass DLC, and am super pleased already. Can't think of anything but Battlefield. Sad, I know.
So they're doing a lot of content with I know they're doing a lot of stuff with the DL. I mean, with Battle. There we go. I can talk again. They're doing a lot of stuff with Battlefield to where those games have always done a good job. Like, so we did discuss the shortcut things in the end, but they've always put out some great content that I know a lot of people are very happy with.
Right.
I'd love to be able to play the Battlefield games, but I feel I'm terrible at them.
Yeah,
It's too real for me, I guess.
Yeah, I'm just going to stay
'Cause,
away from that.
I mean, Call of Duty, you can empty like half a clip into somebody if you're playing in normal modes and nothing happens. In Battlefield, you like get shot once, you're basically dead.
I remember you enjoying playing the Mass Effect online.
Yes, I did actually enjoy Battlefield Bad Company too.
Okay.
A lot. I did enjoy that one. So, I mean, and Mass Effect was very good too. I've played a lot of games.
Yes.
So, and that does it for our comments on the Facebook page. So thank you everyone for
Yes,
posting
thank
that.
you. I love it.
And thank you for the Twitter comment we got as well.
Yes.
We appreciated that. So, I mean, if you guys want to, we'll try to do better about, posting stuff on Twitter and Facebook about our upcoming stuff to get your guys' opinions on. If you still want to, give us some feedback there, you can always do that on our Facebook page. You can like our page and comment on stuff there, or you can, of course, get a hold of us on Twitter, or you can directly email us at Zeng This
at gmail.com.
Thank you. So, I guess we're going to wrap up today with that. A few final things real quick before we wrap up. Our hearts and our, sympathy goes out to the family and everybody who, was involved with Bill Paxton.
Yes.
We really, I mean, I was looking at his IMDb earlier and there was a few movies I forgot he was in.
Yeah.
That I was just like, oh my gosh, I forgot he was in that. But he was, Twister, Alien, Terminator. I mean, he was a linchpin for a lot of great movies and just did an amazing job. And it's just so sad to see another celebrity, gone from this world. So, we just want to say, with our deepest condolences that we, are very sorry that happened and we're sad to see him go.
Oh, yes.
So, I guess with that, I got positive I got another announcement real quick. Next month's Read This will also feature an interesting new segment we're going to try out called Watch This. These will always not be tandem together, but we felt that with what we're doing, it would work this way.
Yes.
So Watch This will work very similar to our Star Wars episodes in the sense of it will be a discussion about a certain movie that we will tell you about ahead of time to watch. And we felt that with next month's Read This would be a very interesting thing to do. The Read This is on Doctor Strange the Oath.
Yep.
Which is I've read it already. I'm gonna reread it again. Ellie, you haven't read it yet?
I have not read
So
it.
we will be reading that on our own. we'll be reading that as well going into next month. And the date for that episode will actually be on March 27th.
Okay.
So that will be the date when that episode comes out. So if you want to read it beforehand, that once again is Doctor Strange The Oath. I'll have a picture out. The reason the picture isn't out already with us going, hey, read this, is because the Watch This is actually on the movie, Doctor Strange, which is not currently available for physical copies at this time. So we will be doing a Watch This on that as well. So that gives us both an ability to discuss the comic and the movie as well. So this is, like I said, just something we're testing out.
Yes.
So
all you Doctor Strange fans out there.
Or somebody who hasn't watched or knows much about Doctor Strange, maybe this is the time to get into it.
Bringing magic to Marvel.
Yes. So we're excited about that for the movie. We're going to discuss that, and we're also going to discuss the comic. So definitely check that out. It's, like I said, a little test we're doing. It's not going to always be paired up like that.
Right.
It just happened to land that way. So we decided to do a Read This teamed up with a new segment we're hoping to continue on called Watch This, which, like I said, if you're familiar with our Star Wars stuff, it's going to be very similar to how that goes.
I know. We really go out on a limb with our titles.
I know. Really branching out.
Read this and watch
this. I'm sure.
Play this.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm sure if there's a video game one we ever do, it will probably be Play This.
Hey, we could do Play This if we're playing board games too.
Yes. There's actually some announcements on that coming up soon. So stay tuned. Our YouTube channel might have some new content on it.
What?
But don't look forward to that anytime soon, as in within the next few months.
Right.
So excited about possible things coming out. So yay. All right. So what are some of the best ways to listen to us?
Well, SoundCloud, Zeng This.
You can also find us on iTunes.
Yes,
And
Zeng This.
And what do you do if you find us on iTunes and you have us on iTunes?
You give us a 5-star rating.
Yeah, give us a 5-star review. We'll read it online. I mean, we'll read it on the podcast and be like, "Yay, thank you!" And it makes Ellie super excited.
I
Those
get
5-star
excited. Give me the
reviews.
stars.
You can also find us on, of course, as we've said before, Facebook, where we have our own page. You can get on there and get updates and stuff like that. You can also find us on Twitter, where we tweet about stuff. And like I said, we're going to start trying to go out there and tweet about the upcoming topic so that you might be able to have your comments read or, interact with us on an upcoming episode. So that's exciting that we're trying to integrate that. At the same time, Instagram.
At Zeng This Podcast.
So we're going to try to, we have stuff on there, photos of we're going to get some behind the scenes stuff soon. So you can see our little recording area we do and, what goes into an episode.
Yeah.
So also you can find us playing games now on Twitch.
Twitch.tv/Zeng This.
And if you want to contribute to the podcast to help us, of course, continue to grow, we are already growing, but if you want to help us, I guess financially help us out, we would greatly appreciate that. Keep the lights on here and everything. You can go to
Patreon.com/Zeng This.
And we're going to be having some extra content on there. Nothing too substantial yet, but just some extra stuff that you might be interested to hear.
Peddling for people to pay our electric bill.
Yay! So finally, you can get a hold of us through email, zingthis@gmail.com. And finally, DJ Golden Boy,
play us out.
what's the best way to get a hold of us? What's the best way to listen to? Some of the best ways that blah, 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 blah.
You're going to edit that, right?
Nope.
Please do.
Nope.